Wow, another week closer to launch. Did you guys all get that email I sent? Yeah? Okay, good. Anyway, yeah, we already know the ship worked okay for the Blue Moon mission. Now's the time to try out some crazy ideas, right? Let's see what you came up with. Then we'll catch up on any updates, okay? Jack, go ahead and start us off.
What about upgrading the water recycling system? Picture this, if you will. The Old West. It's dusty. Buzzards are circling. The wagon trains. They had to take everything with them. A few years later, there were trading posts, and towns started popping up. You could buy what you needed. You knew there were more trading posts ahead, right? So, instead of a 200-day flight to Mars, what if we make some trading posts, resupply stations, between Earth and Mars? A ship could dock and transfer their wastewater, and refill with fresh water, maybe some fresh veggies grown in hydroponics. Heck, hydroponics could generate fresh air too. Taking it a step further, what if, when we get to Mars, we have extra supplies? Don't land them, leave them in orbit for the return trip, or send things back for the next mission. If we break the trip to Mars into zones, we could leave Earth with just enough supplies to get into the first zone, instead of taking the whole 200-day supplies.
Oh, wow, that would be game-changing. The worst part of spaceflight is getting all that mass moving, first off of Earth and then out of Earth orbit, and then slowing it down again when we get to Mars. Just give me a moment to get my head around all this. So, we take less water, learn to recycle water better, and probably grow more food too. That's pretty exciting. So you'd want to make intermediate space stations between Earth and Mars, right?
Right. Well, obviously we don't have time to do all of this now, but what if we could do automated wastewater recycling pods? Like, just dump them along the flight path. They are happily bobbing along, and a year or two later, they're full of fresh water and air. On the Blue Moon mission, he carried all of the wastewater along, then set up the recycling after he landed on Mars.
Yeah, if you could recycle, you wouldn't need as much to start with. And I like the idea of setting up little recycling stations along the way. That's way outside the box thinking there. It's not worth doing for a small crew, but when we start taking passengers by the hundreds, thousands?
Dudes! Oh!
Yes, Pete?
Sorry! Hee. Railroads and trains, Wild West. Do you remember those old travel destination posters? What if we could get passenger service set up, to the point people would ride halfway to Mars, or even just to the first space station? We could build big freaking space destination hotels. Maybe we'd start off with our own space station in Earth orbit, then add the in-between ones, with the big one in Mars orbit as well. We'll need a cargo terminal anyway, right? Ouch! Oh, brain cramp. This could be more like cruise lines then. The ships go all the way, but you might just get off and then catch the next one back again. Space tourism, that could be a thing, right? The ship docks, offloads cargo and passengers, refills the freshwater tanks, and they're off to the next station.
Dramatic pause, eyes wide, smiles.
Dudes, what's in the coffee today? Wow. Oh, we have to see if we can grow space coffee. Somebody please write that down. But yeah, I see where you're going there. Destinations. No one wants to fly all the way to Mars. That's a long way, and it's cold and dusty there. But a space island paradise. Now we're talking. Oh, and we need a kayak park.
Mind blown. And I wasn't sure I wanted to mention the water recycling idea.
Hey, no promises, but what we don't do this time, who knows what we can at least test for next time. Okay, Jack, see what it would take to set up water recycling in a cargo pod. We'll want a system to test for this mission's crew, and bonus points if we could drop a few pods along the way. They might not be very useful in themselves. I mean, how much wastewater could a crew of one generate? But we should be able to test the concept at least.
Okay, I'm on it.
And Pete, I love the idea of the destination waypoints. We'll get back to that after the launch, I think. I don't want to get spread too thin.
Deal. I'll see if I can find some of those old posters. We'll put them up in the break room.
Haha, that's perfect. Oh, Pete, did you find anything about small satellite rideshare?
Yes, well, it's not as exciting as destination resorts, though. Yeah, I have been asking around. There are literally people waiting in line with their CubeSats, looking for the next bus to come along. There is a market price per kilo to orbit. We could be taking little spaceships along, say up to 200 kilograms, all the way to Mars, or drop them anywhere in between. In addition to just being convenient, no one else is currently going out of low Earth orbit. And we could do as many as we wanted to, really.
So we could stack them up and remotely launch them even.
Oh yeah, right. Maybe our in-flight crew wouldn't even need to touch them unless there was a problem. That's cool. I wonder if we should offer anything larger than CubeSats.
Well, we don't want too big or we can't get out of orbit. Although, if we had paying customers, we could scale up. I mean, that's kind of a useful business model. Maybe we could do a couple though. Sure, put the word out.
Got it.
Pod team, anything you can share with us?
Yeah. John and the team are designing and building jigs to assemble the pods, assuming we can get some kind of a hangar. It looks like one person could assemble a pod almost in its own footprint. I don't think we're ready to try assembling pods EVA, though. You know, outside.
Oh, right. Yes, we have a hangar. Actually, I have a good bid. If we buy 12 of the Bigelow inflatable ones, I think we could have 3 of them ready to fly for the first mission. We already have that one in orbit. It seems to be doing well. It's the size of a pod when launched. Then it inflates to about 20 feet longer and about 3 times the pod's diameter.
The first one we launched, it's been up there for a while, right?
Yeah, we launched it after Blue Moon left, so it's coming up on 2 years now. If we can get one built with 2 hatches, it could be an airlock, and send up 2 for hangars for redundancy. Tell you what, compared to Blue Moon, this will be nice, just to have a place to get out of the command pod and move around.
Wow, that's a lot to get your head around, all right. Are we stretching too thin there?
Maybe? Should we try, or focus on easier things?
We only get a launch window to Mars about every 2 years. Let's try it. Even if it doesn't all work out, we can learn from it.
Sure, okay, I'll put a team on the hangars and airlock.
Okay, cool. So these will be like the ones we have in orbit now. I'll just use that for a starting point for the jigs then.
Yes, we'll just lock in. We won't have time for any big redesigns.
Okay, we'll be spinning the ship for gravity, right? If we're spinning, and then we launch a bunch of CubeSats, and then drop a pod full of wastewater, is that going to mess up our balance?
Yes, if we are spinning the whole ship for gravity, we'll need to keep it balanced, or it'll wobble. We'll need a way to move the load around. Maybe we could transfer some water for ballast.
If we had a robot arm, like the ISS or Space Shuttle, could we move whole cargo pods around? We'd have the pods on trusses. We'd need a way to dock and undock things, I guess.
Right. Plus, if we're spinning, we have to account for the mass, the weight of the whole pod on the end of the truss. So that's going to be interesting if we want to disconnect. Plus connections. There'll be power, maybe plumbing, right?
Right. Power wouldn't be so bad, but plumbing makes it more complicated. Let's put a team on this, robot arms and docking, moving pods around. This kind of thing will really be useful as we grow the fleet. Anything else? No? Okay, good job people. Let's do our best, and who knows what we can learn.